Comic books.
Son of a
video
bitch.
games, anime. Sci-fi. If you've been made fun of for it, we're probably going to talk about it.
Get those nerds! Nerds!
You're listening to Nerd Radio.
Hey, thanks, Al.
Man, the voice of a Hall of Famer there.
It is.
Bringing the show to a start.
Welcome to Nerd Radio, wherever you get your podcast as part of the B-Pod Studios Network, and of course, all over your social media at Nerd Radio 101. My name is Chuck Bean. I am joined by the man who puts the caulk in Caucasian, Al Beck.
That's a good one.
You like that? You like? I thought of that on the drive-in.
Wow.
And the man.
Just to be clear, did you say the caulk or
he
the
puts
cock?
No, the caulk.
It's the cock in Caucasian?
No, the stuff that you put in the walls.
Caulk?
The caulk in Caucasian.
Caucasian.
We're also talking to...
It's a new
I
ethnicity.
don't know how to respond to that.
Got him!
No idea.
Got him! Also, we're talking about the man who puts the thong in man thong.
Damn straight. Well,
James.
actually, I put my ass in the man thong.
Yes.
You put the man in man
He puts
thong.
the man in the man thong.
Man. The manhood into the man thong.
This week we're joined by 8-Bit Steve. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
We're off on a great tangent, a great roll already here, and we got something special for our podcast listeners we'll talk about later on in the show. But in the meantime, we're back for another Nerd Radio. And last week we talked about all Star Wars. We had a bunch of people in here who talked about all Star Wars. This week we can finally catch up with everything that's been going on in the
Well,
last
we took a couple weeks off for the holiday, and then we did a Star Wars thing. So it's been, 3 weeks since we really got a chance to check in with the nerd news.
Right. So some of this nerd news is going to be a little stale. However, there's definitely stuff in here that I wanted to get to because I think it's relevant to our show.
I'll keep it fresh. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure.
Crispy nerds.
Before we get into that, though, let's talk about why 8-Bit Steve is here. Steve, you're working on a strategy guide to the Friday the 13th Nintendo game.
Yeah, it's actually already done.
Okay.
It's actually already done. So I made it late last year. It's kind of a really long story how it all came about, but I'm now signed to a publishing company called Hagen's Alley Books.
Wow.
They're the largest retro video game publishing company in the United States.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I made some demo books like this one here that I'm going to give to you guys.
Yeah, show it and put it up on the camera.
Yeah, show the camera.
Here's a demo version of the book.
Nice.
Yeah, this is it here. This is a paperback one. The one that we're going to make is a little bit bigger, has more stuff in it, and higher quality and hardcover. So when that's released. So the Kickstarter is live right now.
Cool.
It was funded completely in 23 hours, and we hit double the goal in 48 hours.
What?
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never realized there was that much of a demand for Friday the 13th NES strategy guide.
Right, neither did I. So
It's very impressive.
just as surprised as me.
Yeah.
I feel like if you do more of these, you've set the bar too high now. Like whatever the next game you pick, it's not going to be funded as quickly, and you're going to be a little disappointed.
Yeah, so when you do Nightmare on Elm Street,
Wow,
it
that's
might
very
take 48
depressing.
hours.
That's very depressing.
So
That's what I'm here for.
if you were surprised by how quickly it funded, why did you select that game? Like if it exceeded your expectations so
Well,
much.
okay, so I didn't think print media was a thing in the retro community, but it actually is. Like people really like collecting books, like GamePro magazine, Nintendo Power stuff, still collectible to retro community.
I've still got a collectible.
I've still got a bunch of my Nintendo Power.
You know how
Yeah.
many Nintendo Powers are recycled?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Years worth.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I was like, this is in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
This is when I was like,
No,
Is
they're
that like
they're
last
super
week?
collectible.
yeah, I'm putting my games in my
there's
closet.
a famous YouTuber called Pat the NES Punk. You guys may have heard of him. He made an NES book, and he sold out of it. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, when he made it, I was like, ha, nerd. Like, nobody's going to buy that. But then he sold out of it. So I had this easy way product that I released on a large Facebook page. So I used to stream on this Facebook page. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't stream there anymore for legal reasons. They approached me. They're like, we want you to make a show. I said, well, I have this thing called The Easy Way. It's kind of like a tutorial series. And they're like, well, let's do it. So I started with Friday the 13th because I gave them a list of games, and they said, we want Friday the 13th. So
Okay.
we did a hour and a half show. It got 1 million organic reach on Facebook. So for the first episode, which is huge.
So that was almost your first clue that this game has a pretty large following.
Well, and so we made other episodes that were similar, like very high reach. We did Turtles, we did Jaws, Karate Kid, Castlevania. So the series was pretty well received.
You said you did Turtles?
Yep.
Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Teenage Mutant
Like
Ninja
the
Turtles.
first one?
Yes.
That's like really weird?
Yes, very weird.
I'll have to go back and watch that. You got to send me a link.
They're all taken down. Yeah, they're all taken down. But
James, I at any time I can beat the first Ninja Turtles game.
That's
for it.
amazing.
At any time, I still have the muscle memory.
I could barely get past the underwater thing when you go through all the electrical.
Yep. No,
that's exactly what the book
Looks like
series
kimchi
is
or
about.
Yeah.
whatever.
It's to, if you take this guide series and you read it and you play the game for a reasonable amount of time, you'll be able to do exactly what he can do with Turtles. You'll just
Right.
be able to play through the game whenever you want without having to think about it. It's designed for casual gamers, people who don't know how to play these hard games. It's broken down into a simplistic form,
Right.
and it's as easy as possible.
Well, and that's the thing, too, that I'd seen an article, I think it was on crack.com or something like that, either last year or the year before, about how surprisingly deep that Friday the 13th game is. Like, when you sit
It's
down with
pretty
it,
crazy, yeah.
you get the 6 or 12-page instruction book that came with the game back in the day, and it doesn't really explain everything, but you sit down and you're like, okay, I got to make sure I don't run into Jason, and I got to try and save these kids. And they don't explain all the nuances of, like, where weapons are or how you can go into the cave and fight his mother.
You could get weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of different weapons.
I don't know how many times as a child my buddy and I would rent that game, and we like didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
We just run around like, oh, we died, game over.
Yeah, it's like, I ran into Jason, so this
Yeah.
game's over.
Yeah, so we have like a minute. We have a minute to try to do something. Oh, there's Jason. We're dead.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
You guys are an amazing advertisement for this book series because that's the over the last 5 years when I've gone to live shows and done all that stuff, usually the thing that I connect with people about is that one game, the Battletoads, the Ghosts and Goblins,
Right.
the Friday the 13th. Oh, I remember that game. I rented it. I could never beat it. That's what this book series is for.
Did you beat Battletoads the easy way?
Yes.
Even the motorcycle.
I was going to say,
jumping
if you can get me through that second motorcycle stage, then
Yes.
all right.
Yeah.
Then
But I don't have a book on that yet. So I just have the Friday the 13th book, and we made it to see what the response is going to be, and obviously a lot of people wanted it. So it's right now I'm at 2.8 times the goal, and I still have a couple weeks left of the Kickstarter. So
That's awesome.
we'll probably get to 3 times the goal, or maybe even a little more.
Just think how popular your book would be if they put Friday the 13th on like the platforms on the
yeah,
Switch.
like if they put it on the
know, to where you
Switch,
could
the
play
NES
it.
app or something.
yeah, or on like those little mini consoles.
Yeah,
They
those-
put
the
games
plug
on
and
there.
play
Classic.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
the classic,
dude, like
yeah.
you'd be selling those things like hotcakes.
Yeah, well, that's what I hope. So LJN is probably not going to release a lot of games. This is published by Atlas and LJN.
Right.
And there's some legal things with Nintendo and that particular company, so it might not be on there. But it may, it may in the future. But in any case, you can play it on emulator or just get a cartridge, which is what I usually do. I've shown people how to play this live all over the place, all across Michigan and other states. Even in Europe, we did a segment at European Speedrun Assembly where I showed a guy how to do it live. First time, he beat it the first time in about 10 minutes.
Wow. How quickly can you beat that game?
You can beat it in about 10 minutes. There's some speedrun strategies where you can get the time down to like 3 or 4 minutes, but it requires a bunch of random things or lucky things to happen. So you have to reset the game, hundreds of times to
Until
get that.
you get those
Yeah.
things
But
to
if-
happen in the right order.
Just from a power on, if you take this guide, you can beat it in around 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I've had 8-year-old kids read this and play the game through without any instruction.
Oh,
just
you
the
didn't have to
book.
bring that up. See, now I feel like an idiot.
Well, I hope
No,
they have
some
permission from their
8-year-old
parents to play such a scary game.
Some 8-year-old kid can just stomp through this game with your guide with that, and I can't do it. I'm absolutely gonna go through that thing, and then I'm gonna play it.
You should. Something that people don't realize about NES games specifically, it only takes a few bits of information. Once you have that few bits of information, the game becomes much more
Right.
manageable. But when you're 8, you don't have that information. It's hard.
Yeah.
You
Once
know,
you figure out that if you hold down for 2 seconds on the white block in Super Mario 3, you can get the warp whistle. Right. Then
Game
it's
comes
like
a lot easier,
it
right?
opens up so many doors. And
Yeah,
you're like,
because
oh,
then
this
you
game
use
is-
the warp whistle on top of a warp whistle, and now you're in the last stage.
Yeah. See, exactly.
I never knew about these warp whistles.
Nothing. No.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
Right.
Come on now.
You can tell Al's not a huge gamer. Well,
That's still in his backlog of games to play. Is Mario 3.
Yeah.
He's still working
Wow.
on Mario 3.
while we're talking about games, I
Just beat
wanted
Pong.
to bring up to James.
Still getting caught up on the Ed Sullivan show. Leave me alone.
That's true.
Love that show.
Over the weekend, James, on my own personal Twitch stream, I finally tried out Realm Royale.
Yeah.
I finally sat down. I don't know if you saw the video.
I didn't see a video, but
Yeah, nope. I sat down. I tried out the Realm Royale is a game James streams every Friday and checks out, and he's super good at it. You get to see him nerd rage, but then you also get to see him wowabunga and send people back to the.
yeah.
How do you
I
put
wouldn't
it?
say I'm really good at it. I would say I'm above average in Realm Royale because I still get my ass kicked all the time.
Right.
But sorry, what was your question?
What's your tagline? You sending people back to the?
Oh, I send people back to the lobby to get some snacks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of curse words in my taglines or my catchphrases when I do play. Once I eliminate an opponent, and if I see that they're observing me on their Xbox, I do an emote where my guy does a little tap dance. I'm like, oh, you want a show? I'll tell you about a show. She got this one man off Broadway tap extravaganza called F you, and then we continue on. But I don't know. I like to play the game because I get some success. There's some bots in there, so you can get some easy kills. But when I do eliminate a person that I can tell is a person, it's such a rush. I'm so happy, and I just want to do is curse and swear.
Right, and you do.
Yes,
very
I do.
often.
Yes.
But I wanted to let you know that my first game, I got my team won.
Good job.
So I'm never playing it again.
I'm assuming it's because of all the Friday streams of mine that you've watched. You picked up a few tips from the mayor of Guntown.
That's got to be it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like I have that same mentality, Chuck. Just start and retire on top.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
The last time I played Rocket League, which was like a month ago, I had like 3 or 4 games in a row that were really good, and I was like, I'm never playing this again. It's never getting any better than this. But while we're talking about video games, something that I definitely want to bring up, because we've been following the nightmare that is WWE 2K20 over the last couple of months.
I'm having been following it since I did my review. So
yeah, well, it's probably a good thing that you stopped, because on New Year's Day, when the clock struck over to 2020, everybody noticed the WWE 2K20 stopped working.
You're kidding me.
Nope. Exactly. I woke up New Year's Day to this news, and I'm scrolling through like Kotaku and my Twitter and stuff like that. So on New Year's Day, if you booted up 2K20, it would get to the menu screen, and no matter what you selected, what type of match, whether it was a single player or going online or anything, it would boot you back to the desktop.
That's crazy. You know what? I would have enjoyed that, because that probably would have been more fun than me trying to play the actual game. Would have saved me a lot of time. Would have saved me a lot of frustration. It saved me a lot of money.
You don't want to play this. It's fine. Just go back to the main menu.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to play this. I'm going to put in Crash Bandicoot Nitro Karts.
It's the intervention hack.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you, WWE. I still don't even have my Fiend Bray Wyatt. I don't know how to get my downloadable content I got for free for pre-ordering the game. I gave you $60 early.
For all the things that were wrong with this game right out the gate, and then over time, for this to also be on top. This seems like the icing on the cake. Like, we can all agree that this game was a nightmare, and nobody needs to play it ever.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I'm put off on any kind of WWE game that might come out in the future. Like, I don't even want to bother.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth my time. I'll just play, NWO versus WCW.
Right.
If I can find a way to play that on 64. That was one of my favorite wrestling games.
Love that game.
Was it Warzone that was on like PS1?
Yeah.
Like, that was fun.
Nate Bender was the one that recommended to me to get last year's game, 2K19, which I hadn't played yet, and I played it over the break a little bit, and he's right. It's kind of solid.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting the way they change things up, because they change things up every friggin' year.
Yeah.
But like when you play the story mode where you're your character, it starts you in the indies, and then you get hired by Matt Bloom to go to NXT. I haven't gotten any farther than that. I only played a couple of matches. But the way you upgrade your characters, like you buy almost like packs of cards, and that gives you parts to, like sunglasses and vests and whatever you can put on your character, but then it also gives you different abilities that you can.
I'll be honest, I don't like the sounds of that either. I want to pick my own character. I want to pick my own accessories, my own glasses. Don't give me some random pack.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is like when you start, the accessories are kind of wonky. They're like, okay, this is all right. But as you continue to play the game, you get in-game credit to buy these packs to get cooler stuff. Eventually you'll be like, hey, I got John Cena shorts. I can finally wear these. Hey, I can do the...
Nice pair of tight blue jean shorts, baby. Yeah, can't see me.
I think I left off with SmackDown 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SmackDown 2 was solid. I love both of the original PlayStation
SmackDowns. I had both of them. I remember enjoying them very much, but
Yeah.
I think that's the last wrestling game I played.
They were some fun stuff.
But I'll tell you, what you just described, though, with these random packs, it still seems funner than the career mode in the 2K20, because literally 2K20 is they put you in these matches with these big name superstars, and then they give you like these little tasks to do. So it'd be like, punch around Ronda Rousey. You could have Ronda Rousey in a hold and have her submit, and like, oh, you did not.
You didn't punch Ronda Rousey.
You did not complete it because you did not punch Ronda Rousey. And then once you finally do complete these things, then there's like 10 minutes of cutscenes which looks like Minecraft characters that are supposed to look like wrestlers.
Oh my God.
Having conversations about wrestling business. I'm like, okay, What?
That does
What were they smoking when they wrote this whole concept?
that does sound awful.
It's the worst.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that there's a mode in 2K19 where you can play through Daniel Bryan's career, and I've played through a couple of those matches, and like, you know, yeah, I have to hit the Miz with a drop kick off the top rope, but like for some reason the computer has decided because now I want to do it that it's going to counter it every time. And I'm like, what the F is this?
Yeah, it's silly. It was just bad.
I beat up John Cena for like 15 minutes, but because I couldn't get him in the specific hold I wanted to, he eventually just gave me his finisher and pinned me. I was like, oh, it's just like an actual match.
Gave you that attitude adjustment, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
John Cena just hits you the attitude adjustment out of nowhere and wins.
5-knuckle shuffle and you peace out.
Stupid wrestling. All right, let's take a break. We got some more stuff to get to.
I think before we go on break, we need to let's plug his 8-Bit Steve's
Absolutely.
GoFundMe or Kickstarter.
Where's your Kickstarter?
Kickstarter. It's on Kickstarter.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Kickstarter.com. You can just type in NES or Friday the 13th. It's going to be the only project on there that has either of those keywords in it that's live right now. So yeah, just go on Kickstarter and find that. You can also go on my website, www.8bitsteve.com. Links to everything that I do there, all my speed runs, my social media, and my Kickstarter.
Are you still doing stuff with the Titans of Co-op?
I am not. We can talk about that if you have time, or we can do it after the break.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's hit a break. We'll come back with 8-Bit Steve. He's going to be around for the whole show, and we'll talk about what's going on with the Titans.
I'll be here. I'm locked inside.
Yep. Nerd Radio coming back.